are you, everybody? Michael Cohen here with you in the Sports Talk Nation. Glad you could join us here today. A big story to talk about, of course, revolving around the New York Jets and their owner, Woody Johnson, as he is embroiled in a huge controversy that could challenge his ownership of the New York Jets. As we all saw the story come out this morning, it broke on CNN, ended up getting picked up by everybody, the New York Post, obviously, Sports Center, Bleach Report. Everybody picked up on this story after it came out. The allegations of racist and sexist remarks by the Jets owner, who is also the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, and it is not good at all. It is looking really, really bad for Woody Johnson. We'll get into more about what this means for his ownership of the team in just a moment. Will he sell the team? Who would be a potential owner for the Jets if he were in fact forced to sell, if it came that far? Keep in mind, he would also be, if the Jets sold, the second owner in this area of owners who have been known as unscrupulous and who have been controversial in the way they've owned their teams in this area to be in a position to sell. The other being, of course, the Wilpons, potentially selling to Steve Cohen down the road. But more on that in a little bit. But still, keep in mind, these are allegations after all. There's still a lot to learn about with the situation right now with regards to the New York Jets and Woody Johnson. These allegations are quite disturbing. There's no way around it at all. Apparently, according to the story here on CNN, this is on the website CNN.com, Johnson questioned the legitimacy of celebrating Black History Month, and apparently, according to this article, got agitated and was asked if the audience would be a whole bunch of black people at a Black History Month event. So you got that. In addition, there were four sources that went to CNN regarding Johnson's allegations of sexual remarks against women. Apparently, he held men's-only gatherings at a men's-only club in London back in 2018. In addition, he would make remarks about how pretty the women were at these events, which many people have considered cringeworthy, according to these sources. And two sources said the ambassador indicated he preferred working with women, but suggested that was because women were cheaper and worked harder than men, and he would also comment on the way women in the embassy were dressed, according to CNN. So the sources that told CNN. The sources also said it was a struggle to get Johnson on board with an event for International Women's Day, which is widely commemorated at embassies worldwide. One source said he asked why he had to do a feminist event. However, the event did end up taking place. So he is in hot water right now. And considering the culture we're living in, cancel culture and all the things that have been going on here over the last, couple of months here, this now gets thrown right into the mix, and he's not part of it. And these allegations are steep. They are troubling. First of all, it's disturbing from the standpoint that, one, you have the ambassador who represents this country, United States of America, allegedly making these remarks overseas. That's the one thing. And you would hope that, at the very least, if it is true, if it is indeed true, okay, these are allegations to begin with, that there's a move that is made to remove Woody Johnson from that position as ambassador. As for football fans of the New York Jets, obviously this is just another seminal moment of embarrassment, and it's been an ownership with Johnson over the last 20 years that hasn't been that great. Yes, the team has been to the playoffs numerous times under his watch, but there's always been problems. Different coaches, different GMs, mismanagement of the team, mismanagement of the roster, and of course the concern. You go back all the way to the beginning when Johnson first bought into the team. When Bill Belichick was supposed to be the head coach, Belichick left because of his concerns about who the new owner would be with the New York Jets, and he was apparently not a big fan of Woody Johnson either. So all those things now culminating into this controversy here, and Woody does not look good. And it's not the first time that he's made himself look bad over there in England. Last year, during the 75th anniversary of D-Day, he was seen playing with his phone just a few feet away as Queen Elizabeth II was making a speech during a ceremony. So he has been embroiled in problems over there for a while since becoming an ambassador. As an owner of the New York Jets, it's going to be interesting to see what the NFL does. And right now, the NFL is embroiled in a lot of stuff right now. The issues going on, of course, with the Washington Redskins. They're changing their team name, but also the allegations of sexual assault and abuse of female employees over there by members of the Redskins staff, and that has put that franchise, of course, Dan Snyder, in center stage as far as what his future is going to be as an owner of that team. What's going to happen there? Now you have this issue with Woody Johnson. What will the NFL do? Will they levy a fine? Will they force him to sell the team? I don't know if the NFL can do that for that matter, but that's now a discussion point among a lot of fans. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that these allegations continue, that we get more information, and it continues to look bad for Woody Johnson. Would he consider cutting his losses and to sell the team? And that's going to be the big question. If that does happen, who would be potential owners? Who would be potential candidates to buy into this team? Now, remember, when Woody Johnson bought the New York Jets back in 2000, he won a bidding war against Charles Dolan, of course, the father of James Dolan. He bought the Jets for $635 million, did Woody Johnson. I am sure now, 20 years later, inflation, you count inflation, the Jets could be even closer to $1 billion, maybe over $1 billion for that matter. What would it take for somebody to come in and purchase this team? Would it be a James Dolan? I know a lot of Jet fans don't want to hear that because considered James Dolan's history of owning teams has not been very good. Look at the Knicks, especially the Knicks, and even the Rangers for that matter. So you don't want to see him. Would Steve Cohen, who is, as I mentioned earlier, a potential owner of the New York Mets, guy is worth about is worth billions of dollars, hedge fund manager, would he be interested if, let's just say, the Mets thing fell apart, or if he did buy the Mets and wanted to buy another team, another little gift for himself and his family? Would he be interested in buying the New York Jets? That's a possibility of a name out there as well. Another name that I've seen very popular circling around the internet is Gary Vaynerchuk, who is an e-commerce guy, millionaire, a self-made entrepreneur. Would he, who is apparently a very big Jet fan and has a big following on YouTube as well, would he be a potential person to come in, swoop in, and buy this team if the Jets became available via this controversy? So those are some names to think about right now. Right now, obviously, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's happening at this moment in time. Nothing's for certain. But this controversy does not look good for the Jets. It certainly does not look good for Woody Johnson. And Woody is not in a position right now to say, you know, I'm just going to back off and I'm going to let my brother handle the situation. That doesn't help him either, because it's still owned by the Johnson family. And with this controversy, and if these allegations are indeed true, okay, and right now with, they say, the CNN says they have multiple sources that have confirmed this story, so we have to go by that. It does not look good for the Johnsons, and if the more information comes out of this, it's going to get even worse for them. So it's something to keep in mind here, folks, as we move forward. This would be a huge development for this football team, which from that standpoint, from the sports standpoint. And keep in mind, will players, and this is another thing I have to bring up here, will players want to play for the Jets? And why is this important? Why do I bring this up? Well, because Jamal Adams, and you see the tweet up there and put it up right now, Jamal Adams, who has had his own issues with the Jets, especially with his contract, he wants to get a contract extension. The Jets have been somewhat reluctant. There's been back and forth between the two sides. The Jets say they want to give him a contract. Adams wants to be the highest paid safety in the NFL. There were hurt feelings last year because the Jets tried to trade him to Dallas. We all know about that. And Jamal Adams, of course, went out of his way and blasted Woody Johnson via Twitter. And going out there, and he said, "We need the right people at the top. Wrong is wrong." And this, a direct shot at the owner, at the guy who signs the checks, at the guy who's got to approve that contract extension if it ever does happen. That says a lot. Keep in mind, these are allegations after all. We still got a lot to learn about this issue. There's still more, I would imagine, that was going to come out on this issue. So a story to watch for quite a while, folks. I think this thing's going to be developing. I think we might hear more of this. I know these are crazy times right now in this country. Remember, folks, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, on Twitter @OpenMicNJ, and also like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation. We'll talk to you next time. Remember to comment below. What do you think about this situation? How do you feel about Woody Johnson's these allegations about Woody Johnson? Do you think he should sell the team? Do you think it's time? What are your thoughts? Leave them down below. We'll talk to you next time.